Hello there once again, welcome back to the channel, Nerd.World Films. We're finishing off the Critters franchise today. As I said in the last one, I'm not going to cover the TV series because I've not seen it. There is a short film called Critters Bounty Hunter that I have seen, but I actually think it might be a fan film. Can't quite remember. It is excellent. I highly recommend that. It's on YouTube. What I'm going to say is Critters Bounty Hunter is like 5-6 minutes long. This film, made in 2019, Critters Attack, is a train wreck, and Critters Bounty Hunter at 5 minutes long has more in it than this film will ever have. I do not know what behind the scenes fuck up happened to create this movie, or what anyone was thinking when they did, but they made it. So before we get to talking about it, let's like, share, subscribe, comment down below, because this channel in particular needs subscribers and views. I do have other channels, Nerd.World, Nerd.World History. Those two channels are doing quite well, and two newer channels. All of them are linked in the description below. You'll find that Nerd.World is quite similar to this one, but I do much more detailed videos on that channel than what you will find on this one necessarily in these Nerd Talks. So, let's get started on Critters Attack 2019. It is the only film that doesn't have Charlie in it. For fuck's sake, Charlie is a main thing. I can kind of understand why, because this film is technically set between the events of Critters 3 and Critters 4, where Charlie was stuck in a pod. It takes place this time in another small town, America. A little bit more of a development this time, but it feels like this film is a Nickelodeon production. You've got a load of kids in this movie who feel like they've walked right out of a Nickelodeon show or a Disney Plus kids TV series. It is not well acted, it is not well shot. It is very poorly written. The critters look awful. I mean, the effects are terrible. They're puppets, which I will give them. They didn't just go CGI. They did use practical. That is good. That's one of the good things about this film, especially for a 2019 movie. The downside is the puppets are shit. They're shit. You expect Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy to walk around any moment, and they'd look more realistic. These things look terrible. Again, they copy a lot of the things from the previous movies. It's almost nostalgia baiting. A lot of the low-angle camera shots that were used heavily in the other movies, particularly the first film. You got the big critter ball in this one like you had in the second movie, but it's destroyed a hell of a lot more easily, and weirdly, it blows up as if it's one thing rather than made of lots of little animals. Anyway. Dee Wallace returns to this movie. She was in the first film, but because of legal issues, or basically over rights holders, although technically she's in the movie, and it's implied she's the same character, she's not actually the same character. It's the same actress playing a different, but same character, because they didn't actually have the rights and couldn't negotiate the rights to the character, so they just made a new character up, pretended it's the same character, and put her in it. Got the same actress to come back, who is now watching the globe, waiting for critters to turn up, and has a big bounty hunter gun. She even calls herself a bounty hunter. Why is she a bounty hunter? Don't know. Where'd she get the gun? Don't know. How did she track the critters? Don't know. But she does. The rest of the cast I'm not even going to mention. They're nobody. They're literally, I'm not insulting them personally, but there's no one famous in this film. No one stands out, and it feels like a Nickelodeon movie. It's also the only Critters movie that's actually like a proper hard R. It's proper it's actually quite dark, but it's so bad. The reason it's bad is all to do with story. The acting is forgivable, but they're all young and clearly inexperienced when they made this movie. And it basically features around one character who wants to go to college. Her friend gets her a job as a babysitter for one of the college administrators, basically going, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You want to get into this good school. She's babysitting the kids. One of them, the young girl, she likes the wilderness. They go out for a picnic, they find a critter, and oh my god, it is a good critter, the critter queen. She's black and white, not just black like a normal critter, and she has lips and everything. She doesn't, no. She's injured, so they pick her up, put her in the backpack, and take her home for treatment. But at this point, the other critters are all overrunning the area, they're killing the wildlife, but most importantly, because these are sentient creatures, they're targeting the humans. They go after the forest rangers first, they kill all of them, in what is admittedly a pretty funny scene of this guy, after being crapped on by a bird, going in the shower and getting eaten by a critter in the shower. And then the critters get into the office and kill the rest of them. Pretty good scene. The effects on that level, the blood effects, things like that, are actually pretty good. It's one of the things this film does right. It's the effects of the critters it does very wrong. The problem with this movie is you have characters that appear and disappear like that. You have storyline threads about her father being an alcoholic and her dead mother that go nowhere. You've got boyfriend characters that come and go and disappear. You've got characters that you start to like who suddenly get killed. You've got no explanation for how Dee Wallace knows what she knows, and no real explanation about the critters in this film. They just arrive. Why is the Queen there? Don't know. Why is she trying to stop the others? Why is she good? Don't know. Where does she go at the end of the movie? Don't know. There's a lot of whys in this film, and it's annoying. It's really irritating to watch because you've just got various threads. Right at the end of the movie, spoilers, they learn that the Queen is actually against the others. She's trying to stop them, and she does this weird mutation thing where her arms get a little longer and these what look like, I'm assuming they're meant to be retractable claws, but they kind of grow out of her fingers, and she just starts hacking the other critters to pieces, slices them up. And then she's just there in a room. She saves Dee Wallace's life, and Dee Wallace then starts talking to her like, oh, you're the Queen, I came to kill you, but you saved my life. You've come to stop the male critters from over on the planet. They can't be male critters. It doesn't make sense. There are no male critters. As far as we can tell, critters reproduce asexually and just produce eggs. So why would they have, and all the other movies, even the trash second one established this, they just all produce eggs. All of them. They get enough food, they produce eggs. They have kids. Those kids grow, they do the same thing. They're pretty much born pregnant. They're either all hermaphroditic or they're simply born pregnant. But either way, why the hell do they need a queen? It makes no sense. It's basically changing the lore for no reason. But basically, this queen, she kicks the shit out of all the other critters. For some reason, she's so much more glorious and powerful than they are. Even though they outnumber something like 50 to 1, and we've seen what these things can do, and she's not that much bigger than them. She's like inches bigger. So, like 6 inches bigger. So she's... No, it makes no sense. And then, after like her and Dee Williams are going, oh, blah, 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 you saved my life, blah, blah, blah. Wait here, I'll be right back. She runs away. You never see her again. The critter is gone. That queen is never seen or heard from again. Well, what happened to her? It's one of the many disappearing story beats from this movie that scream behind the scenes shenanigans taking place. Interference, studio interference, something messing up to make this film as a production. Overall, it's a slugfest to get through. I mean, I think every single time I've watched it, I fell asleep, which is bad for a Critters movie. I think I just hit my microphone then, if that made a weird noise. And yeah, the film is just, it's a mess. It's a train wreck because it's just so many dead end storylines. It's not even an original concept. It's the same basic idea recycled from the earlier films. The only original part is the addition of this queen that makes no sense. She doesn't bring anything to the story. She's too cutesy. They made a critter cute. It doesn't make sense. It's like even in Gremlins, the fucking evil mogwais weren't really cute, except for that crazy one in the second one, whose name I forget. But he was awesome. I'd have had him as a pet, even as the Gremlin. He was great. Anyway, but this film is, as I say, it's a train wreck, and the biggest problem is simply the pacing, the story, the multiple dead-end characters, storylines, abandoned ideas, which just pile on top of one another. It makes it very incoherent and hard to follow. The only central storyline is this babysitter and the 2 kids and her brother who are traveling together. And you've got like random guy that plays bagpipes and makes mixtapes. Who makes mixtapes, as in cassette tape, in 2019? If you do, put it in the comments below, because there's not going to be many of you. It's so weird as a film. And it is hard to get through, and it's sad that this is where they decided to go with the franchise after not making it for 20 years. I hear a new binge is actually alright, but I've never watched it, so I can't really judge. There are some fan films, as I said, Critters Bounty Hunter, that's really good, that are actually pretty decent and they're easy to watch. But they more capture the spirit of the show because quite often they are made by the fans for the fans. This film, I think a lot of the problems stem likely from the fact that they didn't have the creative rights to a lot of the characters. They didn't bring back Charlie. It really feels like it's missing his character. I mean, in the early film, to be honest, he's a little annoying. As much as the first film is great, sometimes Charlie can be a little annoying because he's so much of a cliche dunce character. It seems almost a waste. But he's a heroic, good-hearted person, and this film doesn't lack those characters. But the fact that like these idiot kids walk into the police station like aliens, Why use the word aliens? You know that people are going to think you're fucking nuts. You walk up to them and go, aliens are invading my town. Or rabid dogs, rabid creatures, something out of the woods. It ate their parents. It killed people on campus. That guy that liked bagpipes we all hate, yeah, they ate him. Instead of just saying something like that, it's every time they encounter a new person, aliens! The aliens are after us. And the reason they say this is because her brother likes telescopes and he's always banging on about aliens. So he identifies these things as a fucking alien, despite his much more level-headed sister always saying to him, because he's basically a kid, even though he's clearly a teenager, like mid-teens. He's meant to be younger. He's clearly a kid, so it's like she humors him because he's meant to be a kid. But in reality, it's like, no, she's been saying, there are no aliens. They're not aliens, they're just creatures. So why is it now she's like, oh my god, yeah, you're right, these are aliens. Why are they fucking aliens? People die from snake bites, wolf attacks, dog attacks, random meteorites hitting them from the sky. All the time. I mean, it's not common. I'm not saying that, you know, wolf attacks and stuff are actually as common as people think. They're not. But it happens. Someone gets killed out in the desert. It discovers that they were killed by some snake. You don't instantly think, oh, bit by an alien. Why? Because we're near Area 51. Must have been an alien. No, it was not an alien. Anyway, you've hurt your own case by keep saying it, and it's one of the really frustrating things. They took this, what was earlier on a much more level-headed character, and they turned into a fucking idiot and a clown. And the film is just hard to watch. It's for the first time ever on my channel. In my nerd score, this film is getting 0 out of 6. It is awful. It is not so bad it's good. It is just bad. And the only reason I ever watch it is because, as I've said previously, I'm a completionist. If I start watching a franchise, I've got to watch all of them. One of the reasons I don't sit down and watch the Puppet Master films is because I don't own all of them. So it really annoys me that I've got like the first few and then sporadic. Same with the Hellraisers. There's like 9 of those bloody things now. I think I've only got 5, maybe 6 of them. Anyway, going off topic. 0 out of 6. It's bad. Only watch it if you want to watch all the other films, or watch it to make your own judgment. Don't believe me. You might really love it, but it's hard to understand because although there is a focal central storyline sort of weaving its way through the chaos around it, there are so many pop-up pointless characters that just are there and then gone the next minute, abandoned storylines, that it's just like, what did I just watch? What just happened? And the Queen critter makes no sense. There was no point. Didn't make any sense. I mean, fine, you want to have a good critter? Have a good critter. Why does it have to look all cutesy and fluffy? It looked like a Pokemon. It was like, what the hell? Anyway. Critters Attack. That was the last film so far, as of 2022, when I've made this, that has been released. And I can't find anything on another movie, or even a continuation of a new binge coming out anytime soon. I've been watching IMDb and a few other sites to see if there's any whiff of another Critters movie. But my guess is because Critters Attack bombed harder than, you know, it sank lower than whale shit, basically. I don't think they're making one. Not anytime soon. Might be another 20 years. I hope not, because I really like the Critters movies, and I could see more of them. It's like Tremors. I love the Tremors films. I don't care how bad they are. The Tremors films, there's no Tremors film that to me is so bad, it's actually bad. I mean, there's a couple of them come close. Shrieker Island, not the best. But they're not the worst either. And Jamie Kennedy doesn't annoy me as much as he annoys Zoran. I don't know Zoran, but I did recently watch the Dead Meats on the Tremors movies. God, that's a good show. Anyway, check that out. Plugging other people's channels. Good. Yeah, good way to develop your channel. Anyway, that said, that was the Critters movies. All 5 of them.
I just want to take this moment to thank you for watching that video. If you liked what you saw, please check out my social links in the description box below to Instagram and Twitter and others. And also is down there a link to my Patreon page where you can support this channel and the others as I try to grow this franchise and do this more regularly. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for watching, and bye bye.